Padres Hot Tub is a community-supported show. We do this for our community, and we do this thanks to our community. And of course, for everybody who's watching us on YouTube for free or listening to our podcast for free, we thank you as well. You play a vital role in everything that we do, and we do the show for you as well. But the folks who support us directly do so like this. They go to patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub, patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. And for as low as $5, they just become a Padres Hot Tub member. When you become a patron, you get a lot of benefits, including our banter show that we put a lot of work into every week. That's free to all our patrons. Opportunity to be on our Discord is probably worth double the value of that per month at least, when you look at how horrible the rest of the social media universe is. Keep an eye on that. You get invites to things such as, for example, our Sweet Night coming up in May at the top of the roof of the Western Metal Building, our field trip to Angel Stadium in April, our road trip to Denver in September, and people at the larger patron sizes get merch as well as a gift early on for joining us. So check it out. Check out the levels. Find out where you want to go. But just understand, this show is a community. It's way beyond just being the show you enjoy. There's an entire community behind it that supports it day by day, month by month. And they do so by helping us out at patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. Are you going to be one of those folks? Go check it out and see for yourself. Welcome to the Padres Hot Tub, everybody. Greg Elsten, Chris Reed, Raphie Cantor. It's February, Groundhog Day, where every year AJ Preller rises up, looks, sees his shadow 6 more weeks without a signing. Sorry. It's just the deal. It's the way it's going to be. But here we go. Fanfest is in the rearview mirror. We're about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from pitchers and catchers reporting. There's going to be games before you know it. I think we're like 19 days from a game in Peoria.
Crazy.
So, yeah, things are going to start moving fast here, gentlemen. And Christopher, how are you?
I'm good. Baseball Savant actually has a really fun thing on their page where it has 30 days until the WBC, 18 days until spring training games, 51 days until opening night, and 8 days until catchers and pitchers report. It's about to start moving quickly. And on that note of AJ sleeping at the wheel, Baseball Barbacast did their episode on one move for every team. And they totally copped out on the Padres this week. They just said AJ makes a trade. Like, what? That's how lost we are. The one team in baseball they had no ideas for. It was just, oh yeah, AJ trades. Do better, boys.
Well, we're going to try and do better. Raphie, how are you?
I am well. I am very well, and I'm excited to talk to our audience both about the 2026 San Diego Padres and the exciting opportunities we have to come view games in person with the three of us that I know Craig is about to talk about.
Oh, well, absolutely. In fact, we mentioned this on Banter, a little bit in the patron ad as well, but we've got 3 different outings this year that Padres Hot Tub is lined up for. Starting on April 18th, that's going to be our field trip to Angel Stadium to watch the Padres take on the Anaheim Angels. We're going to be organizing a group tickets buy, and that will be for our patrons. Patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. On May 9th is our third annual Sweet Night. This time, we are going to be taking over the roof of the Western Metals building, or at least the railing, or part of the railing of the roof of the Western Metals building. We got the rail. And that's not what it used to mean in the 80s when we say that we've got the rail for you to enjoy at Petco Park. So There's only
Petco Park didn't exist in the 80s, so
true, but that building did, and who knows what people were doing on top of it. Nonetheless, you can join us, our patrons. There's only about 10 spots left for this year's Sweet Night, so check it out. It's in all the information's in the Sweet Life channel of our Discord, which is available to our patrons. Lastly, we are going to go to Denver on our second annual road trip, PHT road trip. That's going to be in September, September 14th to 17th, when the Padres take on the Rockies. We're going to be going to Coors Field, making the rock pile our own. Details in the Discord. So some great trips. Hey, while we're here plugging things, don't forget the merch is there all the time. These wintry nights, if you're watching somewhere else, why not remind yourself every day that baseball is stupid and no one should watch? PadresHotTub.com/merch. Okay. Let's get to the stuff. And there wasn't a lot of stuff this week. Luis Arraez is staying in division to take on the Padres. He has moved to the Giants. He signed a 1-year deal worth $12 million. And reportedly, Luis tailored his suitors. He was only going to go to a place that would let him play second base and not push him around like the Padres did to first base or DH. And the Giants, crazily, with Rafi Devers at first base, said, "Hey, Louie, why don't you play second?" Now we got the catching side of the infield and we got the hitting side of the infield. It's like the McDLT. Yeah. They're going to keep those two things separate. Hot side hot, cool side cool.
Wow. The 80s references are coming today. Yeah, I mean, it is amazing. Adames, who has a good reputation for being a defensive player, and Matt Chapman, who's one of the best in the league, on that one side to contrast with Luis. And like, man, I'll never not feel conflicted about that guy as a Padre. I've said it many times. I think that he was probably the most personable and charismatic guy on last year's team, but with how he was utilized and his performance, there's a bitterness to it. So I want the best for him, but I don't know if that was the best park. I wanted to see him go to the Rockies and absolutely, just smack floating curveballs around. So, and it would have felt a lot better. So, because we know they're not going to be competing. Raphie, you sent us over a pretty interesting projection for the Giants that I don't know how reality is going to hold up to it, but ostensibly he makes them a little better.
Yeah, you were talking about Fangraphs playoff odds, which came out, and maybe we'll talk about later in the show. Yeah, I mean, Susan Slusser, who's the beat reporter for the San Francisco Chronicle for the Giants, who I think is probably the most reliable Giants beat reporter, at least from a consistency standpoint over the course of time, in my opinion. She said that Luis has gotten multiple reassurances that he will be playing second base there. So, first of all, $12 million for Luis Arraez. Like, I'm happy he got his bag, and I'm so happy we're not paying that. That would have irritated me to no end to think that we could have used that money to go and get some other short-sighted DH first base right-handed option, or another middling pitcher reclamation project. But using Luis Arraez for $12 million wouldn't have been the greatest thing for us. For the Giants, who have been trying to get someone to take their money for years, that is maybe something that they're much more interested in. I really don't understand this from a defensive standpoint at all. For the Giants, it's a lot of question marks. Most ironically, perhaps, is that Luis Arraez, as a second baseman, he has negative 10 outs above average, which is like a whole win of defense over the last couple of seasons when playing second base. And his biggest, detriment directionally is coming in on the ball, moving in on a ball towards home plate. The biggest irony of all, the key to the Padres might be bunting against Luis Arraez and making him field his position. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Luis Arraez trade. I mean, it's been less than 2 years. It's hard to believe since that trade happened between the Marlins and the Padres. But I think it's interesting to reflect on, knowing that his time with the team has come to an end. And this is kind of a sneaky big test for Buster Posey as general manager of the Giants, I think, because I don't think a lot of teams would have made this move to put him at second base. And I think Luis Arraez, there are a few ballparks that would have been better for him to land from a hitting profile standpoint. Maybe you could say Colorado. But I think his biggest detriment in San Diego was that the actual square footage of the outfield is quite small. And you want a big outfield for Luis Arraez to be dunking balls into. And, right. They've got one of those in San Francisco. So
yep.
I can see why that makes sense for him. I think this contract is going to be won or lost on the defensive side of the ball, Craig.
And, it's just interesting looking it up that the sample isn't big enough to be particularly relevant, but Luis hasn't hit great for his standards at Oracle Park, where he's about a 280 hitter. And by the way, he's about the same at Coors Field, actually a little bit less. He did not perform very well at Coors Field, but that's counterintuitive. When you see his game, I think that if he could post up there all the time, he could do well. I think if Luis Arraez rediscovers what makes him him, he can hit 350. But that's regardless of where he's playing. It's not the ballpark that's hurt Luis Arraez. It's pop flies to left field. It's pop-ups and flyouts to left, which he did so much more often than he needs to for his hitting profile. And if he can get back to dunkers and liners, he'll be in good shape.
I had been working on a quick dip video on Luis's market right up to the afternoon he got signed. And I really think it comes down to not necessarily pitch selection, because we all know his chase rate has plummeted since his time with the Twins. And now he just expects to hit everything because he kind of can hit anything. I think the dude needs to go back to actually choosing whether or not to swing at a pitch after it's been delivered, let alone before a pitcher has even selected the pitch. We saw so many statue takes.
Yeah.
And we saw him swing at every 2-strike pitch in 2025, seemingly. And that just comes from him deciding before the ball is out of the hand whether he's going to swing or not. So he needs a re-tailored approach. And, his time in San Diego is a disappointment because we just saw that approach go all to hell. And, the numbers just kept ticking down or ticking up, I should say, on his chase.
So to Raphie's question, which is looking back at that trade, now that we have a cap on Arraez's contributions to San Diego, he comes to San Diego and he puts up 0.9 WAR in his 117 games in 2024. I'm looking at Baseball Reference. Sorry, Raphie. And 1.2 WAR in 2025. So 2.1 WAR. In the Padres got money from the Marlins last year. They got almost $8 million, right, to pay his contract down to the minimum, which was of great value to the team last year, the money. They got Woo-Suk-Go, which is nothing.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, I mean. They got Woo-Suk-Go, which is nothing. Dylan Head.
But that's more money. That's $4.5 million.
Correct. That was money taken off the payroll. Correct.
Yep.
So, I mean, yes, excellent point. It's not nothing. It was salary reduction. They got Dylan Head, who last year for Florida in A-ball hit 223 with a 334 on base, 318 slugging. Walked 58 times, stole 36 bases, hit for no power, and generally looks like nothing right now. He's 21. He's right about at the age of his league. So he has not been a spectacular riser. They got Jacob Mortarella, who hasn't made an impact yet in the big leagues. And they got Jacob Marcy, who has absolutely made an impact in the big leagues, will be a starting outfielder for the Marlins this year, and is the way that the Marlins will win this trade, is if Marcy becomes an everyday regular. All it takes is one everyday regular to come out of the trade, and the Marlins will easily win the trade. Now, Marcy could fall back, get demoted to AAA in May. It could have been a short sample size burst for him, but he's hitting like he hit in the fall league when we had the pump and dump Jacob Marcy, high riser moment. So it'll be really interesting to see. And to me, he's the whole thing about the whole deal.
AFL MVP, baby. With and that at the time of the trade, I thought it was a move that was worth making because Luis Arraez in his previous year with Miami had flirted with hitting 400 for a lot of the year and hadn't quite devolved into the hack master that he became in his year and a half with us. But like, it's AJ trading present day value for future value. Jacob Marcy probably wasn't going to be a contributor even last year. Like, it would have taken a promotion that, I don't know if fans would have found tenable for a team trying to go to the World Series. I think the Padres in the end are going to lose this one, but I also don't blame them for making it.
Yeah. Again, with baseball trades, we're only now seeing sort of what we can take away from the original Juan Soto trade that brought him to San Diego, and that was 3.5 years ago. And even now, one could say it is maybe even still a little too early to see how that pans out with Harley and Susana not even having made the major leagues yet. So more will be revealed, but I think this trade is going to be made or broken on Jacob Marcy's career. So more will be revealed.
More to be revealed. I think it was worth the shot at the time. And if Marcy had been here, would he have been given the opportunity to play? If Marcy had been here, wouldn't he have just been traded for someone else? I kind of think that's the case. I guess, look, he might have gotten a chance to win the 2025 left field job over Jason Hayward and Connor Joe. He might have gotten that opportunity.
Maybe.
He might have gotten a shot. He would have been rushed in. He didn't start the year with the Marlins last year. He finished the year with the Marlins. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility, sliding doors, that we didn't get Arraez. We did something different instead, but I just don't see it. I think we were going to trade Marcy in the 2024 season no matter what.
And the cash just can't be understated because 2024, they're up against it with a hard budget, and they practically get Luis Arraez for free that year. And then last year, Go would have accounted for $2.25 million against a payroll that was also up against it. So, when you have like $12 million in cash and Luis Arraez, you really see the benefit of sending out those lottery tickets. And, it's not going to be the last time we see this type of trade from the Padres as long as AJ Preller's there.
Now, for everyone who said that Preller has done nothing this winter, Marco Gonzales would like to raise his hand and say, not nothing. You got me. You got me, big dog. Marco Gonzales, who I remember is a soft tossing lefty for the Mariners, missed all of last year with elbow injury and is on the rehab, on the mend, ready to go, should be fully healthy. And the Padres have signed him to a minor league contract to try and be better than JP Sears, essentially. That's probably his remit in spring training, is do better than this lefty over here.
What was he doing last year? He
Rehabbing.
was not playing at all.
Recovering.
Got it.
Yeah. And he signed to a minor league deal, which is going to give him a few opt-outs. I can't recall the dates exactly, but I know one of them is around spring training, and then one of them's like at the end of June or those kind of things. But really what this guy does is give the Padres, like 4 number 6, 7 starters at the moment, which you need.
If you go all the way back, and it is a goodly ways, to 2018 and 2019, in those 2 years when he was 26 and 27, Marco Gonzales threw 166 and 203 innings. He threw 203 innings in 2019, won 16 games, 3.99 ERA, 4.15 FIP. Really good at limiting homers, only gave up 23 homers over the 203 innings. Even in 2022, when he was 10 and 15, the ERA was about the same, 4.13, 183 innings. Just gave up a couple more homers. Basically, he gave up 7 more homers over the course of the year. He was okay. He doesn't strike out anybody. But the 2 years after that, man, 10 starts, did nothing, and then went to Pittsburgh. 7 starts, was really, pretty bad, and then got hurt. And is missed all the rest of time, coming back from surgery. So pretty low ceiling on Marco Gonzales. You'd have to hope that he was recovering something that's 6 years past. And what that thing is a guy who can throw to a 4 ERA.
4.5.
And eat up some innings. So, I mean, career ERA 4.16, almost 1,000 innings. So he's thrown to around a 4 ERA, and that's a back end starter, and if you got him on $1.5 million deal, minor league option deal, okay, that's a way to bargain hunt to get some innings. And that's the best thing I can say about Marco Gonzales.
The other move that's even more of a flyer that is perhaps a little bit more like intriguing is they signed Riley Pint, former number 4 overall pick out of the Rockies, who just got derailed. It kind of has Brent Honeywell vibes without the catastrophic injuries. But I think all of this is to say is I would still feel a lot more comfortable about the rotation with like a bona fide number 4 guy as opposed to stockpiling 6s and 7s.
Yes.
I look at this as, Marco Gonzales has had only a 38.5% ground ball rate over his last 4 seasons. So he's a fly ball type pitcher. And, that is a known gambit in San Diego at this point. It is the Pivetta gambit. To a lesser extent, it is the JP Sears gambit. It's, hey, you give up fly balls. Those fly balls sometimes turn into home runs. But in San Diego, they frequently do not. So maybe if we move you here, things will fare a little bit better. I do want to note that Marco Gonzales has thrown a combined 88 and 2/3 innings since 2023.
Yeah.
So that's as long as the 3 of us have been doing this podcast. He has thrown 88 and 2/3 innings in that time. And we've been doing this for not a short time, all 3 of us together. So I do want to point that out. And I guess I wanted to play a little game with you guys, which is who will be more important to the 2026 Padres? And I'm going to say 2 names, and you tell me what you guys think. Okay. Who will be more important to the 2026 Padres? Marco Gonzales or Kyle Hart?
Oh, Kyle Hart. It's because his flexibility out of the pen, and he had some success out there last year.
Yeah, I feel like that's the obvious answer. Is Hart could give you bullpen innings, and Gonzales wouldn't. But it's a devil's bargain, to be honest with you. Whatever contribution either one of them is giving is in air quotes. Probably it's a contribution of some tiny metric of WAR that is less than 1.
Okay, this is an answer I'm more intrigued by. Who is going to be more important than to the 2026 Padres?
Is this
Marco
a t-shirt?
Gonzales or Matt Waldron?
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Marco Gonzales. I think I'm completely off the Waldron train.
We're about to transition into Fanfest, and the pictures of Matt Waldron around the community
okay
at Fanfest this week were so depressing.
Yes, this is literally what I'm reacting to. Somebody put up a picture in our Discord from the community day when they went to, I think, an elderly center or something, and the people were identified, and the person who they said was Matt Waldron, I'm like, that's not Matt. Come on. I remember Matt Waldron. He was tall, kind of striking, like a nicely
Craig, they didn't have his name on the jersey. His name wasn't on the jersey. What are we doing to our guy?
Is that, maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe it was Ty Adcock.
I don't think it
maybe it was Riley Pint. Maybe it was somebody we just don't know.
It was our guy.
Maybe it was one of those people that Keith Law ranked in the 30th ranked farm system. Maybe it was one of them. I don't know, man.
To answer your question, Raphie, I'm with Craig. I think it's Marco Gonzales. I hope not. If we're both right, that's worse for the Padres. The best case is Matt Waldron, like discovering that knuckler that has him a sub-4 ERA and putting guys off balance for the bullpen. But I just don't know, man.
Okay. All right. A couple more for you. Couple more. Who will be more important to the Padres, Marco Gonzales or Johnny Brito?
Ooh,
that's a great question. At some point in the last few weeks, I thought to myself, Johnny Brito is just like the forgotten boy in Padre land. You know, like, we still actually have him. Right, he had the brace.
Internal brace surgery in April 2025. So one would think that might take him out, but the internal brace has a shorter recovery time than traditional TJ. So 1 year, recovery is not out of the question. Obviously they'll be rehabbing him. So you'd maybe be thinking 30 to 50 innings, something in that range. But who's more important?
Then? Gonzales. Gonzales could theoretically win a fifth starter's job, hold it all year, and throw 140 innings for the Padres. Theoretically, he could do that.
I mean, he's also coming off of an injury last season. I know he's had more time to recover. I'm going to say Johnny Brito just from a pure bloomer stance. Because, we talk about wanting to win trades and litigating ones. That's a bit of value the Padres could really use. He's a guy with just a couple of years service time, a fascinating tool set. I'm gonna go Johnny Brito. I'm gonna stand out on the ledge and say that guy's gonna be more important this year, especially in the back half when the dog days of summer are upon us.
Okay. And then here's the last one, and this is more of a gut check about how you're feeling about the season. Who will be more important to the Padres? Marco Gonzales or JP Sears?
JP Sears.
I mean, I don't think it's as crazy a question as
I know. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
I believe
it needs to be JP Sears.
No shit.
Like if it's not, that's really there's a world in which it's really good. Because JP Sears is an average starter and Marco Gonzales somehow just rediscovered 2019 all over again and is throwing, barely below 4 ERA. But I mean, Marco Gonzales has a lower career whip than JP Sears does.
And Johnny Brito has a better career FIP numbers than JP Sears. So I believe, and what I believe is the Padres need another starting pitcher pretty damn badly, man.
Yeah. Man. I want to believe in JP Sears, but it is pretty damn hard, to be honest with you. It's pretty hard to do. He pitched in a extreme pitcher's park in Oakland and gave up 34 homers, 28 homers. Those were in his 2 good years. He gave up 36 homers last year between the A's in the bandbox and the Padres. And, we thought, bringing him out of the small field to the big field. He gave up 7 homers in 24 innings with the Padres. He got absolutely smashed with the long ball. So to me, JP Sears is just barely hanging on in the big leagues, to be honest with you. If Marco Gonzales came back and was healthy all the way, he would outperform JP Sears. Hot take island.
I would say JP Sears
on it.
Is more moldable. He's more shapeable by our wizard of the pitching staff, Ruben Niebla. So
maybe, and I am forced to ask because I looked this up as we were doing this, that the guy that I've kept advocating for the last couple of years, which is Tyler Anderson, current free agent, ex of the Angels and Dodgers, basically has the same numbers as these guys. Like, he's Marco Gonzales with a higher
He's
whip.
got voodoo. He's got black magic, though. We've seen it in person.
That's true. We have seen it in person. That's what I'm hanging on to, is that old black magic of Tyler Anderson. 6'2" white guy. Okay.
I'm standing right here, Craig.
So what's this I see on the menu of Seidler's hosting VIPs at Petco for the second straight week? Is this like the salacious gossip column portion of Padres?
This is a salacious gossip.
Tinfoil cat hat corner.
Not tinfoil. Like there's some sightings. There's no absolute credible names, but I think the noise is loud enough to stand on firm ground and say the sale is progressing and there's movement on it. That doesn't mean jack shit. It doesn't mean this process couldn't drag out. But what it does mean is that there are bidders and they're looking around, and eventually, if it's anything like the last sale, there's going to be at least one group or two groups that emerge as being serious. So it's just something to keep in mind. Padres fans, is going to have profound implications on our fandom. And, but it is, I don't know if it's good, but it is notable that people are taking a look at the grounds. They're kicking the tires on the Friars. And, I've been kind of long on it that we're not going to see anything soon, but having people show up to the park before spring training and looking at it, maybe there's something we hear from Kevin about shortly.
Well, it'd be nice. I don't know that it's a paralyzer for the team, because it's really hard to say, because each of the last 3 off seasons have looked and were shaped essentially the same. Outside of, 3 off seasons ago, there was a Juan Soto trade that had to be made at the beginning of it. But other than that, the last 3 off seasons have all had the exact same shape, including this one, which AJ Preller discussed at Fanfest on Saturday, both in a public forum and then in a press gaggle as well, admitting that little has been done, admitting that the same things he said at the winter meetings, he's saying now. He, just like the leader of the country, has this crazy habit when he's not doing anything to talk about the next couple of weeks. You ever notice that? You'll always hear AJ say, and the next couple of weeks,
true,
we're going to really look to get a hitter, a pitcher. And like he said that in December, the next couple of weeks. And they go, hey, in the next 2 weeks, something. Now, just on Saturday, he said the next couple of weeks, which makes more sense now because spring training actually starts in a week. So, now the next couple of weeks fits contextually. But, this team, as we just discussed, with this really kind of mildly depressing Marco Gonzales discussion, you know what that segment reminded me of? It reminded me of the grilled cheese sandwich I made, which had very slightly moldy cheddar cheese in it that I didn't realize until I ate it. And it was like, it's still a grilled cheese sandwich, but the cheese is just a little bit moldy, but I'm going to just still eat it, but I'm not that happy. That's what I felt like talking about Marco Gonzalez's relative wealth and value, just to be honest. But that's kind of where we are now with all of this stuff. Like, are we gonna actually sign somebody? Or are we just waiting for the Jason Haywards and Martin Maldonado's of the world.
Including the general manager?
Right. Oh, he said it's his fault. Hey, guys, it's on me that I haven't signed a contract extension.
He's too busy.
Too busy signing
sleeping.
people and not trading people. The rejection this man faces on a day-by-day basis. You don't know how many players he's asked to join the Padres. And they all said no for his $1.50 contract. Please come play for us. No, I don't know. What did you guys, let's just start with that. What did you guys take of him saying win-win? That's what I took out of his whole commentary about the general manager extension was a win-win deal that's fair for everyone. That to me means he needs a win.
To me, that says he needs more years than they're offering.
Yes.
That the win for him means a longer term, more job security. And right now, the Padres haven't committed to that.
Couldn't agree more.
I agree. And I also I appreciated AJ. This is like the most candor we've gotten from anyone on this. Normally AJ's the secret one, and it's everyone else who's sort of like hinting and stuff. And yeah, I just don't know at this point how the Padres could think that they could get anyone else better for this job unless their job is tearing down the team. And B, how they can't say at this point that AJ hasn't earned the multi-year commitment. So, I feel like I'm always going to be team labor in sort of these situations, but I'm team AJ, getting this extension because I just think anything else is nothing short of a disaster for the Padres.
Yeah, like he's a great scout, and that's what they need right now more than anything.
Yeah. I don't know if 5 more years of AJ Preller is going to turn out well for the Padres, but I feel more certain that it could than 5 years of anyone else in that job.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I think that's the filter we're all looking at. But I think we are all, many Padre fans believe that the next 5 years will not be as good as the last 5 years in the 2020s. That we've got players in their early 30s that are going to be moving into their mid 30s, that the increased salaries for Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado continue to grow their hamstring over the finances as opposed to relieving it. It actually gets worse. The Darvish situation appears to be at least partially resolved. So that's one box you can untick. From Doomerville checklist, but it kind of is an interesting question. How much better does AJ Preller make the next 5 years if we think the next 5 years have a decline baked into them? Does it matter? This is probably what the Seidlers are asking themselves, or with Eric in the background going, "Get rid of him. He's a bad egg. I could do it." He's not doing that. I don't know. I have no idea.
Eric Grubner's got a binder full of $1 million veterans that he wants to
a binder full of choices that'll improve this place in a heartbeat. In 2 weeks, we'll have it fixed.
Look at these pictures of Carlos Santana, John.
I've asked AI to develop the best plan, and it has.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I have always agreed, and it's just in this conversation right now that, I'm kind of thinking about it in that filter of like, aren't we all thinking that basically what we're saying is like, Wizard, help us. We think the next 5 years are going to get worse and worse, but you might be the one to cast the spell that changes that.
Well, it goes back for me, the scouting. So much of the roster is locked in. And the only way you're going to replenish the holes are buying people that can find diamonds in the rough and find value out of drafts and international free agents. And AJ's track record, at least the past 6-7 years, is really solid on that. I believe he has more players playing in Major League Baseball that he has signed or drafted than any other GM. I think that's something I read last year. And regardless, we've seen him flip a ton of prospect capital, guys who contribute to the major leagues. Maybe they're not all stars, but a lot of AJ's guys are out there in the league playing ball. So he has proven himself as a scout, and that's what the team is going to need. They're not going to need, they're not going to need persons. If they aren't needing AJ in his scouting, like Raphie said, they're going to need somebody who's a teardown artist and just answering to ownership.
Yeah, if you could find somebody that, I don't know. It feels like it's an impossible puzzle, and that's why we want to make AJ solve it. Because the next person who comes in could just throw up their hands and go, nope, this whole thing doesn't work. So we've got to get into a really dark spot, and we got to retarget 2030 as the next time we're competitive. And we've got to relive 2016 to 2020 again, but do it with different guys. I don't think any of us want that. I think that's why we all want AJ Preller to stay. And with that, it's a perfect transition to note that Keith Law's annual ranking of farm systems came out, and our ace scout has developed the number 30 farm system in the league.
But the Padres, he has 4 top 100 guys. They just aren't in the Padres system anymore.
Right. Yeah, they're all traded away. Then I read his top 20 list, and it was actually more depressing because the number one prospect is Ethan Salas, who hit 200 in 10 games, and Cruz Schoolcraft, who just started. So he could be anything, including nothing. And those were our best 2 guys. So it's a very daunting circumstance because, Chris, you said it earlier, the baseball writers, baseball podcasters, everybody, predictionators, all the folks, that's a new word, predictionators. They're all like, AJ's going to make a big move. Why? Because he's AJ. That's what he does.
Yeah.
With what? Mm-hmm. With what? He's offering up popsicle sticks right now and old dioramas. Like, he doesn't have anything to trade.
Along these lines, guys, did you see what happened with Jairo Iriarte 2 days ago?
What?
No.
One of the centerpieces of the Dylan Cease trade. DFA'd. Off the White Sox. Not going to play. So the White Sox, in exchange for a guy who was a perennial Cy Young contender, was like the guy that is still playing for them and looking okay is Steven Wilson.
Yeah, Drew Thorpe is coming back.
Drew Thorpe is recovering. Yeah, he's recovering, but this is AJ's thing, man. And right before that trade was made, weren't they 30th in 2000, right after Juan Soto? Weren't they ranked 30th as well? Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe they were 29th or 28th. But the foolish baseball tweet that Raphie has cited so many times.
Right.
You and Sepid Cretin.
Yeah. He's going to figure it out.
Of course, AJ's going to. He's going to.
Cruz Schoolcraft will be gone.
I'm sure he'll be gone.
He can't.
But I mean, there's not. That's the whole thing. Like, our 8th ranked guy is somebody who Keith Law thinks might get 50 relief innings in the bigs. Our 16th ranked guy is like people who are putting on name tags. It's like, well, this guy is known for wearing cleats on both feet, so he's the number 19th ranked prospect. It's really dark when you get down the list. Here's a guy without power or speed. Let's give him a look. So, I mean,
then cross him off.
I feel like the battery is blinking red, and he needs a year of no trades to get it back to the spot where he'd have a little something. And I kind of thought he was going to do that last year with kind of doing nothing at the deadline. And then he traded Leo DeVries for Mason Miller. So, that's where, right. Otherwise, our farm system would be ranked 25th, and it would be Leo DeVries and then this whole scrapple of nothing.
But we've alluded to it briefly. The Fangraph odds project Padres for a very low number of wins. And if at the trade deadline, that's where they are, this year shapes up as an opportunity for the Padres to reload that system in a way. So it would be a terrible outcome. We don't want to see it happen. But if so, the Padres have more trade capital at the deadline this year than they've had since Blake Snell and Josh Hader's free agency year. They're going to have Nick Pivetta. They're going to have Adrian Morejon. They're going to have Jason Adam. Like, all of these guys could become pieces on teams, if the worst case comes to line. So I don't worry about the prospect rankings because they have ways of shifting.
It's a sad but good point.
Ramon Laureano.
Right. This team does have a teardown. It does have spare parts that can be taken off the plane without it crashing.
An emergency parachute.
Yeah. Let's hope it doesn't go that way, but if it does go that way, they are ready to do that. Good point. A couple other quick notes from FanFest before we get out. Craig Stammen actually, clearly has never gone to a nightclub in the middle of the night and found Luis Campusano there hitting on the same girl that he was planning to, because he is speaking well of Luis Campusano as the potential backup catcher. Says, I remember when he was catching me as a rookie, and really instilling some positivity and faith in Luis Campusano. It's nice to see.
Yeah, no shit. A manager not trashing the guy openly. Wow. Refreshing.
It's wild.
Yeah. It also shows to me that if they really believe in Luis Campusano, as Craig Stammen seemingly does, that he will also be getting some appearances as a short-sighted DH. Gavin Sheets was listed as the primary first baseman. No indications now that they're going to platoon him. Obviously some moves could be made in the short future that changes that. But my guess as things stand right now is that you'd have Sheets, Cronenworth, Bogarts and Machado as primary, Sungmoon Song cycling in and giving guys days off their feet, and then Campusano backing up at catcher, and then probably DHing on lefty days. And they'd probably, who would be the left-handed bat who would DH on righty days?
Not yet on the team.
Yeah. Song, I guess. Maybe Song.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's lefty, though. That's not what they need. They need a righty.
Still work to be done. I think that's for sure. I'm just happy, like I said, that they're not like, well, Luis, he's a terrible catcher. We can't use him. He better hit.
Yeah.
Like it was an actual statement of confidence, and it gives me hope that that's the kind of manager Craig Stammen wants to be. Which is, by the way, the kind of manager that Mike Schultz said he was for everyone except Luis Campusano, who he shit on regularly, absolutely refused to play, and when he played, put him in the worst situation possible, and then would never not blame him for what happened. And it was just the 180-degree opposite of what probably the kid needed. And I'm hopeful that Stammen's going to provide that. And then if Campusano still busts, then he's just a bust. But we've learned, we'll know at least, and that's going to be good.
Yeah. And behind him, the catching ranks are certainly thin.
It's Freddie Fermin, and it's, I'm still thinking they'll sign somebody, but I don't know who. Okay, Nick Pivetta gave the Padres, I thought, some great news this week.
Yes.
When he announced that he will not be representing Canada in the WBC and is going to stay in Peoria and just do his regular, full, even extended because of the nature of the WBC spring training, ramp up, and he'll be ready to take the ball opening day. Unless the Padres, magic Framber Valdez onto the roster somehow. Nick will be the opening day starter, and he'll get the ball, and he'll be fully ready to go and will not get hurt playing in the WBC.
Was he just saying that he's doing that because he wants to focus on the regular season?
Mm-hmm. He said best chance for the Padres to win a championship would be for him to do this.
Yeah, focusing on a World Series. He knows he's needed.
I love that as a Padres fan, and I just hate that as a baseball fan. I think that sucks. I think all these guys should be representing their countries. Like, it just, we don't have it on the menu, but there was a report this weekend that Puerto Rico might be forced to withdraw from the WBC because they can't get insurance on 8 of their top 10 players.
Yeah. Francisco Lindor not playing in the WC is a very different thing than Nick Pivetta not playing for Canada. Puerto Rico is not a favorite, but they're definitely in it. Whereas Team Canada, Freddie Freeman's not playing. So, like,
what are they going to do then?
Yeah. Like, I think maybe if Freddie Freeman's playing, it might be different, but it's probably not. Like, Nick Pivetta looks at Team Canada and knows what their odds of winning the World Baseball Classic are.
I'm going to repeat something I've said before, and I will keep it brief, but the WBC is stupid and should go away until the league wants to make it a real thing. And if they want to make it a real thing, they need to take it seriously. They need to put it in July. They need to replace the All-Star game, extend the break from 1 week to 2 weeks, and play the WBC like a World Cup in the middle of the year, where the players just leave the team a week before the WBC starts, and you lose your star players for a week, and then there's 2 weeks where the WBC is played. And all the pitchers would be in regular season form. All the guys who were going to get hurt in March would have gotten hurt already. So it wouldn't be like, oh, the WBC, such a drain on player talent. But the facts are, there's simple facts that pitchers get injured in 2 windows generally, March and September. And one of those windows is when you're hosting the WBC. So that's the worst time. The worst time is when pitchers are ramping up or when they're winding down because they're tired. And you need it to be in the middle of the year. Pitching is what makes baseball. Hitting is whatever. And everyone can hit any time of the year, but pitching is what makes the sport. So take it seriously as a sport or dump the thing, because I hate it right now, where it messes up spring training, it messes up people's schedule for preparation, people get hurt, and the tournament is blamed for it, and all you really get out of it is these couple of games. And it's jarring because I don't want baseball to matter. It's March. Baseball starts mattering in April.
I think the last World Baseball Classic was awesome, showcasing Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. Like, I think that was really good for the game. Manfred did allude to this, Craig. He's had a couple of things, a couple of interviews or talk times, whatever they've been, where he's made news this offseason. And in one of them, he talked about baseball having a midseason tournament. And what better to do besides World Baseball Classic?
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics. You could do it at the Olympics as well. And you could alternate that, and you could have the Olympics and then the WBC every 2 years if you wanted to do that. But just do it the right way. This is the longest sport that puts the most on the athletes, and March and February are their preparation time. And so you're disrupting routines. And I dislike it on every level of that. I get around to enjoying the game for what it is, but I always feel like it's less than what it could be if everyone was in mid-season form. WBC round over.
Nothing to add.
Okay. Ethan Salas around the org. What does that signal about his potential? Ethan Salas is not going to be on this team this year, right? I don't think he'll be close to the Padres this year.
Right.
I mean, he's slated to start the season at AA, and we talked about it being thin behind him. Like, Blake Hunt is the next guy up. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the next guy up. And if Ethan finds the swing and is even a 100 WRC plus, dead average hitter around whatever league he's in, he already has the defensive skills to do it. He doesn't feel like a dude who comes up at age 20 to me, though. He just doesn't. It feels like don't put the meat on high heat. You'll toughen it up and it won't be good. Like, keep the slow cook going, proper development.
He hasn't had a good year since Lake Elsinore.
No, but he's still like he's not even 20 yet. Like I don't think we're gonna see him. I don't think so.
I don't think we're gonna see him. I think the window to make him to turn him into an impact player has come and gone. In terms of trading, he would have to not hit for 100 WRC to become the centerpiece of a major trade going forward.
It would have to be 130, 140.
Yeah, it would have to be 130, 140, 150.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. To me, like he is the cautionary tale of what happens when you've got a top-ranked prospect that you don't trade. Sometimes they don't turn out, but it's way too early to say he's not gonna.
Yeah.
But he's done nothing, so he needs a year of doing something.
Yeah, at least he's not gonna be a Padre.
He'll be a Padre if the Padres are if he has a good year at AA and the Padres are completely out of it in September and they need some good press going into next year and they want to give him a cup of coffee.
But that still is like a worst case scenario to me because like the development.
Of course
like,
it is. Padres aren't in the
playoffs. But we're looking. We just talked about a catching development project that has been botched by the Padres and Luis Campusano.
Yeah,
and that's on many levels. He wasn't even a catcher coming out of high school, and became one, and it just hasn't worked. So I don't know. I do want to add on a little bit with a contribution from somebody from our Discord community.
Please. Yeah, great way to wrap things up.
New patron Michelle Frost attended the San Diego meeting of the Sabre folks. And of course, Sabre stands for spreadsheets are baseball, Raphie. And
exactly it's a personal organization meant to shame Raphie into taking stats seriously.
To reinforce his beliefs. That's all. But Josh Stein.
It's the Society of American Baseball Researchers is what it stands for.
What? I don't know about that. You guys should Google it. Josh Stein, the assistant general manager for the Padres, one of the guys that there is always in Dominican and gets credited by AJ as being a key force in the team, spoke with the San Diego members. And there were a few fun takeaways that Michelle shared in the Discord community. Obviously, they were disappointed with how the season ended last year and that Ramon Laureano getting hurt was a blow. We all got that. I had asked her to ask him about bunting and whether that was like something that the team's analyst had identified as a way to extract value on the margins. Was it that? Was it like a little bit of trying to compensate for baseball's overcorrection against bunting? Or was it the dugout? Was it Mike Schilt? And she said that it seemed that he felt it was more of a dugout thing. It was more of a Mike Schilt thing, but acknowledged that it was a ton of bunting and that they were especially, in quotes, not happy with Jackson Merrill's attempt in the playoffs against the Cubs.
Yeah.
And that was clearly a result of Mike Schilt's culture and his advocacy of the small ball and the bunting. He reinforced that Morejon and Miller will continue as relievers, not starters. He did say that they were in discussions about first base options beyond Gavin Sheets. The plan is for him to play there this year, but that they're looking at it and there may be movement. He said that it's far more likely that they acquire a player via free agency and that the moment for trading is probably passed them by. They had talks, but it was all stuff that seemed to I kind of chalked this up to Pivetta talks.
Yeah, Pivetta, Cronenworth.
Pivetta hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That hurts the 2026 teams. It was going to be really hard to get value out of that helped the team. And it said the Padres rotation is what it is. The most interesting bit out of it, I thought, was the whole sacrifice bunting thing. My question is what I found the most interesting because I would love to see that go away completely. You guys, we know how frustrating it was last year, and I would love to see a culture shift away from that.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Michelle, for asking those questions at the meeting and passing it along.
What do you think the over-under is on sacrifice bunts from first to second base by the Padres in 2026?
What was it last year?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
The number of times that we bunt a runner from first to second base. Because those are the ones I want. I want the answer to be 0. Or like one because it was the most specific situation.
I'll say under 10.
I certainly hope so. I don't have what it was last year. I have sacrifice hits total, and it was 48. Jesus. Good Lord. That's so many. It better be half that. We better Jack Bauer the bunts this year. 24.
I'd be okay with us having fewer than 20 bunts this year and 0 bunts from first to second. You should never bunt a runner from first to second unless you're the pitcher hitting. If you're the pitcher hitting or Martin Maldonado, if we somehow re-employ Martin Maldonado, he can bunt a runner from first to second because he's useless. He's either going to strike out or double play every single time. Like, otherwise it should never happen. And it was happening. And yeah, when Merrill bunted, that was the worst thing ever. Okay. Good stuff. That's some good stuff. Thank you, Michelle, for your contribution from afar via our Discord. Great reminder to anyone who's not that there's great stuff in our Discord all the time. Patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub is the way to get access yourself. Anything that we have missed, gentlemen, before I put a wrap on this episode?
Would love something else to talk about next week. So AJ, I'm going to need you to do something. Sign yourself if you can. That'll at least give us something to talk about.
Announce the pumpkin pudding. Announce the pumpkin pudding, Grupner. Let's get with it.
It's a pumpkin pudding?
I don't know. It felt fatty and salesy. Not fat, F-A-T-T, but F-A-D-D-Y. Yeah, it felt, they're into it. It's going to be about protein is what it's going to be. There's going to be some macros.
Protein pudding.
Added.
Yes.
Yeah, the protein pudding.
Announce the protein pudding. For everyone who loves pudding,
protein pudding.
But you need that protein in your life. Get jacked on protein pudding.
That's our next t-shirt, the Padres protein pudding.
Get jacked on the protein pudding. Available on the second level of the Western Metals building only. Okay. For Chris Reed's Recipe Machine and Raphie Cantor, I'm Craig Elsten saying, go Padres! Please go to the place where we make moves. Go Padres.